Hey, everybody, and welcome to season 2, episode 12 of Your Spiritual Best Friend. I am your host, Josh Sanchez. And on today's episode, I know a lot of people have been reaching out to me. Yo, bro, when are you going to do an astrology version podcast? And I was like, I got you. I got you. So I've been on a roll when it comes to mental health. But for today's podcast, we are going to talk strictly about astrology. We're also going to talk about just like a lot of big energy shifts, as there has been a lot lately. I know for me, there has been a lot, which has been pretty cool. But we're going to talk about that. We're also going to do some reflection questions for the full moon in Capricorn. We're going to talk about how it's going to affect you based off of your rising sign. So I'll explain a little bit of what rising sign is, just and the reason why I always do it this way instead of like what your sun sign is. So we'll talk about that. We will talk about the full moon, and I'll give you guys just some ideas for you guys, just to prepare yourselves for what you're going to experience. So before we get started and we talk about this astrology themed podcast, if you guys are not a fan already, please like and subscribe to the podcast, whether you're listening on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the above. Your follows will really help the podcast overall. So now let's get right into it with our first topic. So as you guys know, we have the full moon in Capricorn tonight. And it's crazy because you might have already been feeling like a big shift of energy, or you might be feeling more intense, or you might feel more pressure to do things. That's what the full moon is supposed to bring. And to top it off, we literally just started Cancer season literally like yesterday. So it's like you go from a new shift of energy from the Gemini energy to Cancer, and now you have a full moon right away, ready to hit us hard. So if you guys have been feeling a little bit more emotionally intense, or we might be clashing with certain people more, or stuff might be brewing more, that can explain why. As the full moon, you usually feel it a couple days before, during, or a couple days after. That's why I always tell everybody, they're like, oh, when do you usually feel it? I was like, you might feel it before, you might feel it after a couple days, or you might feel it in the middle of it. So when it comes to both energies, we're going to talk about both. So we're going to talk about Cancer, and we're going to talk about the Capricorn full moon. But in regards to how it's going to affect you and your house numbers, I am strictly going to do Capricorn. I'm going to do the Capricorn full moon. So that way we're not confused with everything. Because since it is Cancer season, you got to look at your rising sign and where does Cancer fall in that, because that house number will give you a specific little area to keep an eye on. So for example, with myself, I have a ton of Taurus placements. I am a Taurus sun, right? My rising is in Sagittarius though, right? So for me, if you look at my chart, I would say Cancer season, the sun season, is going to be in and we're going to count it together. So we got Sagittarius would be my first house. Capricorn would be my second, right? And as you go through Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer would be my 8th house, right? So this is involving intimacy, right? So during this season of Cancer season, I might be working on what is it that's going to fulfill me in my sense of intimacy, socially, like what do I need, right? Transformation, rebirth. And I definitely feel that to a T. Like I have been feeling this intense pressure to evolve and grow within myself, not necessarily involving others, but more for me, like what is going to fulfill me and my soul. And I've been feeling that a lot lately, very intense energy. If you tell some of my friends, or if you know some of my close family members, it's been like a very big just roller coaster. Like my sister graduated, my brother graduated a couple weeks ago. I met some very powerful connections. I've been more social. People have been so validating towards me these past couple weeks. I realized that I have a problem with accepting compliments, and that's something I'm working on trying to heal myself. So I've been doing some mirror work, which is something that I can throw in the show description if you guys are interested in that stuff. But anyway, like that's how you look at your chart. So we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do that for the Capricorn full moon because it's happening tonight. Then we're also going to talk about some self-care reflections for you guys. Some people ask me if in regards to rituals, what should I do? Should I not? I'm a firm believer. I'm never going to tell you what you can and cannot do because you are in charge of your own life. If you are feeling the urge to do like a full moon ritual or a manifestation or a prayer for the full moon, go for it. That is your spirit telling you something, right? If you're not, don't worry about it. Just keep it pushing. That's why I always tell people, like, I'm never going to say, don't do this, don't do that. Like, no, I'm not that type of person. You are in control of your own life. So just remember that. Like, this is your life. So however you want to choose is on you, right? So now we're going to get started right away with the Capricorn full moon placements. So starting with Capricorn energy, right? So it's actually crazy because my moon is in Capricorn. So I'm feeling this right away. You're going to feel this right in the first house. So the first house involves your sense of identity, your sense of self, right? Like it's what's motivating you, what is driving you, what is fulfilling you, right? Your ego's in this house, right? So this is going to be a very intense moon. If you have a Capricorn placement, anywhere where you have Capricorn in your chart, keep an eye on. But in more particularly, if you have Capricorn planets, you're going to feel it more in those areas. This also goes for other cardinal energy. So we'll get through the cardinal energy signs as well as we go through it. But Capricorn is the first cardinal energy, which means the beginning. Cardinal energy is the beginning of each season. So Capricorn is not Capricorn. Cancer is a cardinal energy for the summer. Capricorn is the cardinal energy for winter, right? So it's opposite energies. So that's the first house. Next, we're going to do Aquarius. So if you are an Aquarius, actually, no, I'm going to do Sagittarius next. I don't want to be disorganized. Next, we are going to do, no, I was right. Yeah. So it goes Capricorn, Aquarius. Yeah. So next, we're going to do Aquarius. So Aquarius, you're going to feel this full moon in your second house, which is opposite of what you've been doing. So right now, Cancer season, you might be feeling very drained, very tired, right? Now, this is going to add to that, right? Because this is going to be in your second house. So this is all about what you value, your belongings, your sense of possession, right? Some people think of the second house as just like money because money is very external. But I look at it like this. I look at it in regards to what are the things that bring you fulfillment, right? Whether that's a physical item, something that's driving you, right? The second house is very big on that. So for my Aquarius risings, you guys are going to feel it in that house, some way, shape, or form. The next placement we're going to do is Pisces rising. So if you guys are a Pisces rising, you guys are going to feel this Capricorn full moon in your third house, which is, it's a social house, but it's more local community, right? So it's how you communicate, the peers around you, right? You might you might have a heightened sensitivity or awareness for the people that you see in your everyday life. Like, are they bringing you fulfillment? You might even question some of that, right? The third house is a social house. So think of things like that for my Pisces risings. The next sign we got is Aries rising. So this is all about your sense of home, family, right? The fourth house is at the very bottom of the wheel, right? So it's a house that people don't really like to talk about. But this is all about your origin, where you came from, home, right? Sense of family, right? So for my Aries risings, you might have questions involving family for during these next couple days, right? And it's also the strawberry moon. That's what people love to say for the summer solstice. So that's something just to keep an eye on. So if you're feeling more questions about your family or origin, background, right? Sense of security, right? Because what makes us feel at home? We're secure, right? So for my Aries risings, that's something for you guys to keep an eye on. The next sign we're going to do is Taurus risings. And I know a bunch of Taurus risings because I'm a Taurus, but I'm a Sag rising for people just joining in. So for Taurus risings, this is going to be in your fifth house, this Capricorn full moon energy, right? So this is all about your inner child, creativity, right? Your fun spirit side, right? when you look at a child, right, they're what makes children so amazing is just one, how creative they can be and their sense of imagination, right? And their ability to want to have fun and play, right? Just have fun. There's no judgment. Let's just go, right? So that's where you're going to feel during these next couple of days during this solstice, right? It's like you're challenging your sense of creativity, your inner child. Like, do you feel like you're fulfilling that side of you? Because the everyday hustle and bustle can make us just feel like we're on autopilot, right? So that's something for you guys. You might be feeling that pressure. The next sign we're going to do is Gemini risings. So for my Gemini risings, this is going to be in your 6th house. So this involves health, wellness, daily rituals. So your daily routine, the stuff you do on a day-to-day basis, there's going to be some intensity or shift involving that. You might be feeling like, oh man, like I'm so used to doing this, this, and this, and now things are getting thrown off my routine. Well, that's what this full moon is bringing in to the spotlight for you guys. So that's something for you guys just to keep an eye on. Just, all right, what are you doing on a day-to-day and your overall sense of health? So mental, physical. Do you have a good implementation of a plan to help you out on a day-to-day basis? It's very important if you guys do that. So that's Gemini risings. Next, we got Cancer rising. So it's Cancer season. So you guys are already going through a very big sense of like identity and ego shift, right? Now, here comes this full moon coming in, and this is going to be in the 7th house for you guys, which involves partnerships. The 7th house is very similar to the 3rd because it's a social house. But with the 7th house, it's more about your sense of commitments with people, right? So whether that is professional commitment, relationships, right? This is all about your sense of union and togetherness. Do you feel like your partnerships are fulfilling that? Or do you need to take a step back, right? So you might feel that pressure more. I would also say if you guys are in relationships, you might be feeling that now as well. Like, is my partner committed? Do I need to communicate my needs, my wants, right? So for my Cancer risings, that's something for you guys just to keep an eye on. Look at your commitments and partnerships. Next one, after Cancer, we got Leo rising. So you guys are going to feel this Capricorn energy in your 8th house. So the 8th house is all about intimacy, trauma work, right? So you're going to feel, I would say, for your own sense of intimacy, right? I would also say too, like transformation. It's just something for you guys just to keep an eye on, you know? So you might feel like, oh, like I want to evolve and take the next step as a person. I would also recommend if you're ready, if you feel like you're ready for change, shadow work can be really healing, especially if you have 8th house placements. Because again, it's all about building that intimacy up. Like I just recently started mirror work, which I'm going to do a podcast about probably in a couple weeks. I want to get a little more experience with it. Got to give a shout out to my coworker for getting me on that wave. It's really helped me be more intimate because I have some eye contact issues with people and stuff. But that's a whole other thing. But the 8th house involves the sense of intimacy, right? So for my Leo risings, that's where you guys might feel this full moon's presence. Next one, after Leo, we got Virgos. So Virgos, this is going to be it might be because Virgos are all about discipline and logic, you know, and getting stuff done. This full moon is going to create a bunch of different perspectives for you guys because this is in your 9th house. The 9th house is all about expansion, travel, long distance travel, higher education learning, evolving, right? And Virgos are kind of opposite when it comes to that. They like to have more discipline, routine, day to day, right? Learning about the details of things. The 9th house is all about free spirit, right? So I would say for my Virgo risings, be aware of, you know, this might be an opportunity for you guys to expand or grow, right? And not being, instead of like being intimidated by it, go out and enjoy it, right? Because we all have these moments where we can't stay stagnant. We got to expand, we got to grow. So for my Virgo risings, that's something for you guys just to keep an eye on. Next one we got is Libra rising. So for my Libra risings, this is going to be in your 10th house. So the 10th house involves your sense of legacy. What do you want to do for your career, success, right? So reputation, right? So you might be receiving or you might be getting more validation at work than normal. That is because, again, like it's finally time where it's like your work is being, if you are doing the right thing, you will be rewarded with it. If you're not, you might be starting to, I would say, question like your work and stuff. So questions involving your reputation, career, stuff like that. Very important for you guys during this time period. So that's the 10th house for Libra risings. We have two more left, and then we'll go over our questions and stuff. So after Libra comes Scorpio. So for my Scorpio risings, you guys are going, this is another social house for you guys during the Capricorn full moon. This is going to be in your 11th house. So the 11th house involves your bigger sense of community. So the 3rd house involves your local community. The 11th house involves bigger picture. So social media presence, right? What do you want to be viewed in regards to your overall sense of community, right? So this is also a very like humanitarianism type of energy as well. And for my Scorpio risings, you might be feeling that more, like wanting to be out in the community more, wanting to be more social more, just putting yourself out there. Again, the 11th house is very social. You might feel that pressure over the next couple of days to go out, connect with people, help people. You might be embracing people more than you would normally do. So that's something for you guys to keep an eye on. And the last one, and this one is for me because I am a Sagittarius rising sign. This is going to be in our 12th house. So the 12th house involves anything spiritual, right? So it is the spiritual realm, right? It is, I would say, dissociation, releasing of old habits, right? So like as we grow up, right, we at first when we come into this world, we are souls, right? And we experience a human body and then we live through that human body, right? So the 12th house is all about getting connected with your soul self, right? So getting into spiritual practices, you might be feeling that edge more. Doing things that are going to try and fulfill you spiritually, not the next person, you, right? So that's what the 12th house placements is, right? So depending on what your rising sign is, I went through all 12, and that's where you guys might feel certain things, right? But overall, I would say Capricorn energy in general is one, it's an earth energy. So it's all about creating a plan, right? Working hard, getting stuff done, right? Which is the opposite of Cancer. Cancer energy is about feeling, intuition. Capricorn is all about logic, right? Understanding, sitting back and observing, like what are the facts, right? So something for you guys to keep an eye on is, you might have these moments where we are thinking so much about the future, like, all right, like how is this plan going to work or how is that going to work, right? You might also question like certain loyalties and like whether that's people or your job, right? Stuff like that. And I went through all 12 houses. That's where you guys are going to feel that. But I would say, yeah, like Capricorns are very big on this is the path we're going, right? And with that can bring very intense change. Reality checks might come in, right? You might want to take a different path to get to that end goal, right? So that's what the Capricorn energy is meant to bring, right? And some questions I have for you guys just to reflect during this summer solstice. The first one is think about your home/work balance, right? There's a saying, right? Are we living to work or are we living to live? Or I can't quote that exactly. But the reason why I say that is because I think for myself, especially when I first started my job, I really struggled with that. Like I would be focusing on, well, I got work Monday. I got to take these next 2 days to recharge. And like I was sort of like losing like the things that were bringing me so much fun. And I mean, it did take me to break, to move on from a relationship to get to this point. But again, you learn from your experiences. But I will say, like this past couple of months, since March, I've really been changing that, right? Like I've been, instead of living to work, I have been planning things after work, having fun, connecting, right? And it's been really fulfilling, not going to lie. So the reason why I say that is look at your home to work balance. Do you feel like you have a strong balance with that? Do we feel like we're on autopilot where it's just we work, we come home, right? This Capricorn full moon is meant to challenge that and or make you be more a little bit more aware of that, right? Because it's very important. We can't lose ourselves in the chaos of everyday life. So that's the first question. How is your work/home life balance? The second one, for my people that love to journal or just love to just think, what are some ways that you can contribute to your own version of foundation of family? Capricorn is a very traditional sign. It's ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is like the grandpa planets. So look at your own version of families, right? Your own version of family. How can you contribute to that, right? Whether that is at home, whether that is, spiritually, right? How can you contribute to your own version of family? What does that look like, right? And the last question I have is what new structures feel like they are emerging in your life, right? So think about, we might have, like I just talked about a couple minutes ago. For the longest time, you might have been used to doing things specifically on the routine, right? So what are new things that are coming into your life? New structures, right? And how are they emerging, right? Because a structure, right, is something that's coming into your life and staying in your life, right? So how is this new structure feeling for you? Do we feel like it's good? Do we feel like it's not? Whether that is a new relationship, right? Because now that structure changes, a job change, right? Something like that, right? Like, what is that going to look like for you, right? So important. So those are our 3 questions for the full moon in Capricorn. So that way you guys know, okay, if you want to reflect and journal, I love reflecting and journaling during the full moon. I probably will do it after this podcast because I have some fun tonight. I got some plans that I'm really excited for. But those are the 3 questions, and I'll make sure to put them in the show description once I'm done this live stream. Even I'll put them in the comments right now so that way everyone has it. So the first question, what is your style? What is your work to home balance looking like, right? Second one, what are some ways that you can contribute to your own version of family? And the third one, what are some new structures that are coming into your life and what are they showing you? So those are the 3 questions. I almost pointed out 4 fingers. So that is the Capricorn full moon segment in a full 20-minute breakdown of just some things you guys just can keep an eye on. And again, I did it based off of your rising sign. If you guys want more in depth, I do astrology and tarot readings as well. I also do counseling too. So just saying, if you want to get more in depth, I can. I've been doing astrology for 5 years, tarot for 2, and I love it. So speaking of tarot, we are going to transition to our next topic where I'm going to pull 5 cards for you guys. This one's going to be a little bit longer of a reading. I usually pull 3, but since it's the summer solstice, I am going to pull 5 cards for you guys. And these 5 cards, my question is for the people listening to the podcast, and also if you end up listening to it, I would say after this live stream, what should we all expect, me and my podcast listeners, for the summer solstice? Because I know we still have a couple more days of it. So, and the full moon is coming tonight. So it's gonna be nice. So let's see what we got here. We got 1. And give me a second because I love to shuffle. I love to shuffle the cards. And if you guys can hear the ASMR of the card shuffling, let me know. All right. Oh, that one's calling, and that one. All right. So we got 5 cards. Here we go. And thank you, ancestors, for providing the space for me and my podcast listeners. All right. So Interesting stuff. All right. So my bad. I accidentally dropped the card. My bad. Oh man. How I do tarot card readings, just giving you guys heads up for people just listening. I usually go by numeral, I go by like the number order of the cards. So that way, like it's organized and stuff like that. So the first card we got is the 5 of Wands, as you guys can see, right? You see a bunch of people, they're holding wands, right? Stuff like that. Wand energy is air energy. So that's something for you guys just to give you a heads up. But here's what it says for the 5 of Wands, and we'll do our own interpretation as we go. Competition, disagreements, clashing of egos. The 5 of Wands symbolizes passionate struggles and fiery conflicts. When this card appears in a reading, it calls attention to disharmony in your life. You may be engaged in a mental or physical warfare with those around you that brings up feelings of contempt and anger in all those involved in the fighting. If this resonates with you, you must dig deep within to find a way to bring peace once again to your inner circle. It is important to remember that constant arguing doesn't solve problems, but rather it only adds anxiety and discord in your life and to the lives of the people you care about. If you hope to gain freedom from the chaos in your life, you are the one that needs to extend an olive branch. Now is the time to swallow your pride and use your communication skills to find the root of the cause of the fight. So I would say with this first card, right, we might be going through challenges involving others, right? Depending on where it is in your life, you might be feeling that, right? So ask yourself, right, like instead of focusing on what the other people are saying, what's the root of the problem, right? Because that's how we can get to the solution of the problem, is getting to the root of the problem, right? But we have to be aware of what is the issue, right? Whether that is a family member, whether that is coworkers, right? So that's what the first card is screaming at me. That's what I got right away, is just, all right, what is the root of my problems? Is it something that I'm doing? Is it something that the people around me are doing, right? What is the universe showing me, right? And then that can help you be aware of, okay, what is the root of the problem? All right, so that's the first card. Not bad, not bad. The second card we got is the Chariot. So this is the 7th card of the Major Arcana. I love the Chariot. I'm not going to lie. If I do get more tattoos, I was thinking about getting the tarot card, the Chariot, on my arm, because I really feel like it resonates with me personally really well. So the Chariot, direction, willpower, determination, success. Are you ready to master your emotions and take the reins when it comes to your own life? The Chariot tells you that now is the time to get what you want. Consider this card as a sign of encouragement. The Chariot is all about overcoming obstacles and achieving your goals through determination, focus, and willpower. You will feel motivated, ambitious, and in control. This will help you get a stagnant situation moving again and overcome all the challenges that may be on your path. Just stay focused and believe in your own abilities. You will achieve your goal. A triumph is waiting for you, and you are completely in control of making it happen. The reason why I love this card, because this card screams willpower, determination, resilience, right? All qualities that we need to take the steps and evolve as people. If we never had resiliency or determination or want to change, our life would be meaningless, right? So that's why I love the Chariot. So I would say with this card, have you been pushing yourself to like a certain direction, or have you had like an itch or a drive to do something different? Take those steps, man. Find that determination. Find that motivation to do it. Because like the card said, a triumph is waiting your way, right? Whether, and again, it does not mean, I don't want people to take this and be like, well, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be financially successful. No, like, do not take that. But a triumph could be making a new connection, unlocking a new side of you that, you've been resisting or holding back due to the trauma that we've experienced, right? So I don't want you guys to think, oh yeah, I'm going to take this leap of faith and I'm going to make $1 million. Like, nah, don't go that far. Okay. But A triumph is waiting for you. The third card we got is the Death card. Again, not to worry. A lot of people get scared when they see the Death card. They're like, oh my goodness, right? Because it's this idea of death. Not to worry, okay? The Death card is ending of a cycle, transition, getting rid of excess, resolutions. First things first, like I said, don't be scared of the Death card. Death is often mistaken, and it's also, I would also say with the Death card, people get scared because death means end, right? So if you have a question about a relationship, obviously, you know, if you still love the person, you don't want the relationship to end. However, like, you got to embrace how you're feeling. Like, if things are not working out, it's time for an end of a cycle. We reach a point, right, where we grow, we evolve, we end up like meeting all these people, and we might have some powerful connections. But if you guys listen to my last podcast, like, some people are meant to be branches, some people are meant to be leaves, some people are meant to, that's what they're meant to be, right? They come and they go, and it's okay. So with this card, it's just saying end of a cycle, right? The death represented by this card is almost always a symbolic one. It symbolizes the end to situations and connections that no longer serve us in a positive way. It indicates completing a chapter, putting the past behind you, and cutting out what is unnecessary. It can also signify a transition or middle ground between one phase of life and the next. The key is to welcome the death card instead of avoiding it. What path is number 13 trying to point you toward? After all, there is no new beginning without an ending. So I would say for me, and I want you guys, as I'm describing my experiences, I want you guys to think about your own as well. I would say for me, I was in a very long relationship, 6 years, very long. During those 6 years, I had a lot of awesome memories, a lot of love. Again, did not end on bad terms. I'm not that type of person. I never have been, never will be. But I am a firm believer, though, and once a connection ends, it's meant, like, there's no need to go back. There's just none. Especially like if I feel like, you know, like it no longer, like, I'm not going to benefit from the connection anymore. It's, you know, it is what it is. So I would say for me, you know, like, ending of a cycle for the longest time, not only just with my relationship, but also like I've been in school for 7 years after high school. I've been constantly on this go, right? Now I have some time to be free, let go, explore, travel. I've put in so much work, right? So what this death card is representing for me is letting go of all of the old habits I used to do, right? The old viewpoints I used to have, right? And coming into it evolved, right? So I want you guys to think of the death card. What are some things that you guys feel like need to end, right? Because right now we could be feeling like we're in these two different periods. You have this one side, you're ready to evolve, ready to take the steps. And then you gotta get rid of the dead weight before you go, right? It's just like jumping into a new relationship, right? If you don't take the time to reflect on what happened with the relationship, why it ended, and you jump quickly to the next relationship, most of the time you're going to bring back baggage, right? You're going to bring back the negative stuff from the last relationship onto that one, and then your new relationship's going to be affected, right? And you might be just repeating the cycle until you eventually get it, right? So that's why I always welcome the death card. It means, you know what? I got to get rid of that baggage. And I know what the baggage is for me. I know what it is for me. I got some, hey, I'll be open and honest. I got some serious abandonment issues, man. And that long distance stuff, it really affected me. Like, it really triggered that abandonment stuff. And half the time it was nothing that my ex was doing. It was just, I was just so in my head because of the long distance. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you got to get rid of the dead weight, embrace those sides of you before you jump to the next chapter. You just have to, or else you're never going to grow. You're just going to repeat the same cycles, right? And this goes for all avenues of your life, even at your job. You might go from one job to the next, right? But you got to take away, all right, what did I learn from this job? So that way I can bring it to the next job, right? What wasn't working, right? So that way we're not repeating the same mistakes. So those are the first 3 cards. Now we have 2 left. The next one we have is the Ace of Wands. So the ace, meaning the first card of the wand energy. Oh, dang it, I definitely did the order wrong. I am so sorry, guys. But anyway, Ace of Wands. Creativity, brilliant ideas, a birth or fresh start. Yeah, so this is, if I were to reorder it, this would be ahead of the 5 of Wands, right? Because if you look at the journey, we might feel like a rebirth, a fresh start, like, oh man, I'm ready to take on the world and do all these new challenges, right? And then that's where you clash with people. Because as you change, some people are going to be for it. Some people are going to be like, nah, dude, I am completely against what you're doing, right? So that's where the clashing of egos comes in. But anyway, though, let me finish reading the card. They say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step. The Ace of Wands carries a similar message, representing a bold step toward a new beginning. The first card in the Suite of Wands, this ace is full of energy, a creative kind that breathes life into things that did not exist before. It often represents bright ideas and unique plans. Are you wanting to start a new business, using your talents, seeking a romantic partner or new friends, wanting to improve your physical appearance? Now is the time to go out on a limb and be brave while thinking outside the box. So again, look at what that intuition, that gut feeling is pushing you to do. Man, I really want to hit the gym. I want to start working out, right? Instead of focusing so much on the end goal, look at the first step. First step, just go to the gym. Stay consistent, right? I'll share a little personal experience. Like when it comes to physical health, around Christmas time, I was close to 200 pounds. Not going to lie to you. I was close to 200 pounds around Christmas time. I realized I had a binge eating problem. Like I would stress eat. When there was stress going on, I would just pig out and I would zone out and not even really realize what I was doing, right? I got on an anxiety medication. I looked at myself and I was like, look, I need to go to the damn gym. I have been going 4 days a week, been doing it for, when did I start? I started in February. Yeah. Started in February. So about 4.5 months now, 4 times a week. I've done about 60 workouts at the gym. I am now down to 178, right? But again, I wouldn't have gotten to this point if it wasn't for me listening to what my body was telling me in the very beginning. You need to put yourself first. You need to take care of yourself, right? And that's what this card is screaming. So I just use that as a personal example. But think about areas in which like you have that gut feeling that's pushing you to do something. Man, I really wish I can do this or go here or see. It all starts with an idea. Now let's create a plan, right? It's actually pretty funny because yesterday my sister graduated high school, and shout out to her. She is incredible. But we might be planning on going on like a Spain trip or something, right? And that all started with just one idea. Now we can create a plan, right? For me, I want to start hiking more. I'm going to start hiking. I plan on going hiking next week. But again, like everything starts with an idea, right? And that's what this card is saying. So embrace those new ideas that come into your life. And the last card we got is the Knight of Cups. As you guys can see, knight in shining armor, holding a cup and riding a horse, right? So the Knight of Cups. Cups is water energy, so expect something to do with emotions. Knight of Cups, romantic proposals. Oh, man, if I'm going to get a romantic proposal, let me stop playing. Invitations, following your heart. Ever wondered what the term knight in shining armor represents? The Knight of Cups is it. The knight rides on his white horse to save. It doesn't have to be white. I don't know why they said that. The knight has to ride on its horse to save the princess trapped in the castle. He is confident, brave, and wears his heart on his sleeve. He is loyal in a relationship and devotes all of his love to his woman, or vice versa, because again, I'm very gender neutral. So It can also be in reverse too. Just saying. I don't want you guys just thinking, it's just a guy. Like, no. This is a very masculine deck, but I love it. This deck resonates for me Anyway, what this card is saying, Knights are also action takers. So this card could be telling you that now is the time to take action, or that you're about to receive a big surprise. And the Knight brings the kind of news we hope for. This might be a wedding proposal, unexpected job offer, new friends. So what this card is saying is something good is going to happen. So after all this work, right, the Ace of Wands, you're tapping into new ideas. You're clashing with people, right? Some people agree with the new person you're becoming. Some people do not, right? The Chariot, continue to push through that chaos. You got this. You got determination, willpower, death, right? Removing all of the crap that's been holding you down in order for you to embrace this new side of you. And then this last card we got, just goodness coming your way. Man, this reading is powerful. I feel powerful reading this, right? So that's our tarot reading for today. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Again, this is just for this solstice energy. So this is energy just to expect for, this week into next week. Just keep an eye on that. Full moon is tonight in Capricorn. But man, oh man, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I can't believe, 41 minutes straight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, learned some things. And again, I'll make sure to put the questions in the show description so you guys can check that out. But again, if you guys are not a fan already, if you love my content, want to schedule a reading with me, this is how I normally do my tarot readings. I also add Oracle into it as well. But yeah, I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to help heal. Life is a consistent, constant journey through highs and lows. And let me tell you, you are not alone. So remember that. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, wonderful Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. And this is Josh officially signing off.